Hey, this is Matthew Harvey here, the 12 o'clock siren, recording live at the 903 Broadband Studios on the southeast corner of the downtown Leonard Square. On my left hand is James Dalaska Hartley.
That's a good one. I like that one. It's what it feels like out there. I hate it.
It's miserable.
Yeah, I don't mind it in Alaska, but it's not good here.
We are iced over.
We are. Thought it was thawing, but I bet it's about to refreeze.
It was trying to thaw.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by J.T. Mellick Rice Whiskey of Louisiana.
Well, they got rice aplenty now.
Chris and Danielle Tassin brought that in for us a couple weeks ago with some crawdaddies.
May I?
Yes, please do. It is a different whiskey, obviously.
It smells different.
Just a little something here.
It smells like sake.
Yeah, no doubt. We are back, though. We got a guest here. We were talking about how to describe him and introduce him, and we decided upon Leonard Extraordinaire, Johnny Mckinney.
How you doing, Mr. McKinney?
Oh, there's my audience.
Just fine. Glad to be here.
I'm going blind on the soundboard today, so that was a good push right there.
Pull your readers out.
I don't have them yet.
Oh, man.
I need them. I need them. Johnny, how you doing?
Doing just fine. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing well. Welcome to the Siren.
It's kind of a cold night, isn't it?
It is chilly, probably right at 32 degrees. What'd you say?
I said, yes, it is. It's unfreezing, but I think it may freeze over. I don't know.
It's 34.
It's going to be nasty tomorrow. Here on the Leonard Square, that red brick's going to be slippery.
I've got my Crocs in sport mode, though. Not yet.
Oh, you got the little tab
little
flip forward.
straps, yeah.
I bought Adidas. Adidas makes Crocs like that.
Oh, really?
Little slip-on Adidas shoes.
Nice. I like them.
Sidebar. That's how we start the show.
Yeah, we're kind of
Johnny's
ADHD.
like, what did I sign
Sounds
up
good
for?
to me. Anyway.
Johnny, you're from here, born and raised? Let's get that out of the way.
Well, I come here when I was about 2.5 years old, 1956, and I've been here pretty much ever since.
Where from? Where'd your family come from?
Dallas, Big D.
Oh, all right. So they didn't make the journey west or anything, huh?
No,
they
just
came east a little.
Just 60 miles.
All right.
To escape the city?
Well, I think just to get back in a small town, too, yeah. Escape the city and get back in a small town, and my mother's mother was here and things like that.
Cool. Walk us through growing up here, Leonard, in the 50s and 60s, I guess.
Yeah, well, I was here, I guess, about 56, and I don't remember much the first few years. I remember kind of walking around town, playing in the yard, but when the 60s got here, I remember in 1961 they started Little League here, and I started playing Little League, and up until that point they had one in Wolf City, but they started one in 61, so that was my first year in Little League, so I played that, then I played Pony League, and went to Leonard Elementary School, Leonard Junior High, and Leonard High School. I spent a lot of time around this town just hanging out, doing things, selling Coke bottles, talking to people, and things like that.
At the pharmacy?
Around the pharmacy.
Selling Coke bottles?
Yeah, I used to sell Coke bottles around town.
Did they buy them there? Or you're selling people?
I don't think that, yeah, just people. Uh-huh.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you live in town here?
Back then I lived about 3 blocks south of the old Church of Christ.
Oh, okay.
So then I moved 3 blocks east. Then I moved back 2 blocks west, so I'm within a block of my original residence.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've come full
So right
circle.
down the road here?
Yeah, right over here, yes, behind the Church of Christ, about 2 blocks.
I was trying to do the
Yeah.
math on that.
The
It
old
was
Church
like,
of Christ, yeah.
it was like an SAT question.
Yeah, so I'm almost back to my original residence, and I always kid my wife. I said, well, my next move, I guess, will be this way, unfortunately.
What were the 60s like in Leonard? Especially, I mean, like the Vietnam War and all that. What was the culture like then? Have a lot of bell bottoms and afros or anything?
Well, I think in the early 60s, I think it was pretty much conservative for the most part. People had certain beliefs. They thought a certain way, and it didn't vary a lot when I was a kid. There's a way you was supposed to be, and it seems like when the Beatles come over in 65 or 64 and the Vietnam War started big in 65, it seems like a lot of things changed. Kids' attitudes started changing more than adults. And it seems like adults didn't like the kids' attitudes because they were old school. They were from another time, and I didn't change, but a lot of kids changed, grew the long hair, and some of our coaches detested long hair. They didn't want any of it.
Couldn't help but notice you came in here with some long locks.
Do what? I'm sorry.
Can't help but notice you came in with long locks today.
Yeah, I've kind of conformed here.
You're retired though, right?
Yeah, in 2023. Yeah, yeah. I need a haircut. Actually,
If you can't beat them, join them, I guess, huh?
Yeah. But the Vietnam War come along, and it just it seems like it changed the whole nation, and it changed the kids to a certain extent, their attitudes, and not everybody, but there was some changes certainly. But I just kind of stayed the same, for the much way I grew up and the way I was taught and stuff, and
Yeah, I
for
think
good or bad.
when we look back at the, we talk about the culture war and stuff, I think it's the 60s that kind of started it all, you know? Like we can trace the roots to this generation's culture war back to the 60s for sure.
Yeah, I remember the night that the Beatles appeared on Ed Sullivan. I saw it that night back in 1964, and I'm really telling my age now, but I do remember that. And then all the other groups from England come in, and we had a mass invasion from England of singing groups.
I think Eddie Sutter told a similar story.
Well, it's funny, like being, almost 40, excuse me, being almost 40, and you think about all the pushback the Beatles got for singing, like, I Want to Hold Your Hand. And then now you got that, like, Sam Smith dude who tells everybody he's not a dude and wears, like, women's clothes. It's like, man, things have changed.
Well, and even in the 90s, Dennis Rodman was doing that. And everybody thought he was crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I know he was doing that, and he is from southeastern Oklahoma. And, and he was a different type of person, great basketball player. But but actually, I was around when there was probably an influx on drugs for the first time. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it started coming around about 69. Some people bought it in, people moved to Leonard, and it kind of snowballed to some extent, and it wasn't good for the community, but it happened to every community.
What'd that look like? Is that like cocaine or marijuana or?
I bet it was marijuana and LSD.
It's marijuana and LSD. Yeah, LSD. You got that right.
Yeah.
Cocaine, I guess, probably more 70s, 80s.
Yeah, more expensive. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it wouldn't be out here.
No.
Well, I hadn't really thought about it from a drug perspective. History in Leonard.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, I just noticed it just started coming in when I was a sophomore, and all of a sudden it's kind of all around town, and not all around, but it was a lot, and it was introduction to the 60s, Leonard's introduction.
Yeah. Introduction to New America, right?
Oh, yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Pony League, and at that point, are y'all playing kids in town or other towns?
We played other towns. In Little League, we had 3 teams from Leonard and 1 team from Celeste. The Celeste Blue Sox, that was their name because they were blue devils. And
it's not just a clever name then.
Yeah, and then they had the Pony League, the 1 team from Celeste, the Colts, I think, and we had a Pony League team from Leonard. And we played various towns, White Right, Tom Bean, Celeste, and all around. And most of the fathers volunteered to coach, I guess like they do now, and had volunteer umpires and stuff like that.
You mentioned Pony League. We had establishing member of Pony League, the band, John David Kent.
Also from Celeste.
He should have written a song called Blue Sox.
Yeah.
I know his dad, David,
Yeah.
I went to school with his dad.
There you go. Full circle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What? Who's principal at the time? Who's teaching school then?
When I went to school?
Yeah.
Well, the longtime administrator, principal, and coach, he was principal and coach, was Perry Morris.
Okay.
He was deceased in 2014. Perry Morris was the head coach for like 13 years. The only one that really coached longer was Coach Fletcher, 17 years. I didn't think he'd break his record, but he was the coach for 13 years and did a good job. And he was assisted by David Williams, John London, who are also deceased, and some of their wives are actually still alive. And we had different teachers. Miss Golden was the English teacher, and Mr. Hackney was the math teacher, and Miss Savage was the business teacher. Mr. Griffith was the agricultural teacher. Y'all probably know, you might or may not go, Glenn Griffith, the son.
Well, we know Jim McDonald, his grandson.
Yeah, his grandson, right, yeah.
We know Griff, too.
Did Jim spend much time in ISS?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't think he got
we may have done a day or two. I can't remember. That was our introduction to you, was ISS. In 2000.
Your introduction?
Yeah.
I never got. I only got ISS once, and I just had to sit in Miss Marshall's office in the old high school for like half a day.
Yeah.
After I got into a fight,
Sometimes that's the alternative route she took with that, but not a lot, you know.
I had some of that Leonard privilege. It was with a move-in, so
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Perry Morrison, longtime coach, and
Harry Morris, yeah.
yeah.
Miss
Perry.
Golden.
Yeah, Miss Ruby Lee Golden and Miss Savage is a business teacher, and
How was
that-
the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
and they were all very good teachers and everything, and well respected and really good teachers.
How was the football team back then?
When I was in high school,
Yeah.
well, when I was a freshman, we moved up a class for the first time to Class A from Class B, and we were 6-4. Nobody expected us to do it well. We did, and then the next year we were 6-4. We dropped down to Class B the next year in '70, and we got a quarterback hurt. The first play of the game gets Lone Oak, who was the district championship, and Lone Oak actually beat us for the district championship. But we were still 8-2. We had a good season.
How many people went to the playoffs back then? Do you remember?
Oh, just one.
Just the one. Now 4, I think. Go.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous,
It
but
is.
but back then you had to win district to go to playoffs. You had to win district, and the next year we did win district when I was a senior, and we beat Lone Oak out of district championship. But unfortunately, we played Salina for a by-district, and Salina was ranked number 1 in the state, and they beat us 27-0.
Well, they've got a history on them, don't they? Salina's always been tough.
Well, it was tough back then. They were very good back then, and they had the best I remember on the offensive line. It was Class B, where the school enrollment's below 119. They had 3 Division I linemen on one Class B team. It's incredible, but they did. And I saw them on television later, and I told somebody, I said, "Look what we was against."
What's your buddy that was Salina?
Guy
Yeah, guy.
Charles.
Yeah, he was on a state team. Got a ring.
His dad was principal there.
Yep.
Who's that?
Guy Charles's dad. Oh man, I'm forgetting his first name. Principal Charles.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, they've had a run. They had a long
Greg.
streak, and they've been good for a long time.
I hope that's right. It's my dad's name, so that's why I'm saying it.
Yeah, they have been. They've been tough. They were featured on MTV's True Life. I'm a hometown football hero.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But they were also Class B then, so another school that's grown. Anna was Class B, and a lot of these places, you know. And they also had 8-man football around here. When I was in high school, they had a loop around here at Blue Ridge, Tom Bean, Community, and actually Lone Oak was there for a while, and Westminster. Westminster doesn't have a school now, but they had an 8-man conference around here then. Then they eliminated 8-man in 1975, I believe.
Was that through the schools?
Sir?
Was that through the schools or out extracurricular?
No, that was through the schools.
Yeah, it was like a
organized,
UIL sanctioned.
Yeah, it was just 8-man. It was the step below Class B. It was 8-man.
Gotcha. Yeah. Then later, 6-man.
Yeah, 6-man's out west.
Well, they eliminated 8-man and they had 8-man and 6-man at one time, both. But they eliminated 8-man and they left 6-man.
6-man's fun to watch, though. Those are high-scoring games. Everybody's eligible.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
they are, yeah.
It's a they play it out west. I think Jake McCarley's uncle was like a coach out west somewhere, like Alpine or something, and he took the 6-man team to the playoffs or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Tyler McCarley's dad played 8-man for Blue Ridge. You
Oh,
know,
really?
Tyler, yeah, I remember him.
Mickey.
Yeah, he played for Blue Ridge. He played 8-man football there, and I think when they had a real good team, they played Gorey in regional, I think, but they lost their quarterback the first of the game.
Yeah.
and got beat. Of course, Gorey was a power 8-man, but they did well to get there.
I feel like Tom Bean's still playing 8-man.
No, Tom Bean is
They're having a rough time at it.
yeah, they're Class
Yeah.
2A, but
Yeah.
Would Ray Renfro have been playing 8-man?
no, he played 11-man for Leonard. He
Okay.
that was before my time, but he played about 1948, 50, something like that. And eventually he played pro ball for Cleveland. Cleveland Browns, played flanker, played for North Texas, and he run like a 9.5 100-yard dash. He's one of the fastest men in pro football.
Wow.
And they always tell me a story that that one day he was out at practice and said that his daddy come out there in work boots and said he outrun everybody on the high school team except for Ray, and he was 40 years old.
Oh, wow.
And he lived here?
Who, Ray
Did he live here? Yeah.
Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from here, yes.
Yeah.
He played here, yes.
All high school here?
Yes, he went to high school here,
Okay.
yes.
What year did you graduate?
1972.
1972. So what'd you do afterwards?
Went to college.
Where at?
Went to Navarro Junior College to play football.
Corsicana,
East
Texas?
Yes, Corsicana, Texas. East Texas, yeah.
Cool. So you played football for Navarro. What was that experience like?
It was okay.
Is
It
that
was a different place, and I was around kind of different people that maybe I'd been around in football. A lot of people that was great talent,
Sure.
great ability, size, speed, and what you didn't see around here really.
Noticeable difference stepping up from high school to play at the collegiate level?
Yes, it was, yeah.
What'd you get your degree in?
Minor in math and business.
Whew. Minor in math. Better man than me.
Oh, it's not that hard.
Math's my Achilles heel,
You
man.
just got to put your mind to it. That's all you got to do.
I'm getting a headache now. So you did that, then you came back to Leonard, or after college?
I worked in different towns. I worked in the industry at first, then I started working in the schools after about 15 years. And,
Oh, okay. What was that transition like, coming from corporate or industrial to education? Did you like it?
It was okay, but it
Yeah.
wasn't too smart. Probably it's so much stress.
Yeah, for
A
sure.
lot of stress.
So when did you finally get back to Leonard?
Well, actually, about 77, 78. Yeah,
Okay.
and I've been here since then. I've been here since
okay.
that time.
And so when you moved back, is that when you started working for the schools, or?
No, that was later. That was in the 90s. Started in
okay.
schools. Yeah.
Gotcha. Man, what was the 80s like in Leonard?
Brown.
Well,
Just brown.
Yeah, just
Everything was brown.
I think I was kind of out. I don't know. I wasn't real in tune with the 80s, but it seemed like all of a sudden there was videos and MTV
neon
and
neon colors.
It was a different time. It was the Reagan era, and I thought Russia was going to shoot
Yeah.
missiles at us and stuff like that. And I guess he stopped that. I don't know. Hopefully.
Ronnie Ray guns.
There's a gas shortage and a flock of seagulls, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find info on Archie White.
Archie, yeah.
Let's talk about him.
Okay, he lived, first of all, I'll tell you where he lived. You go out the underpass,
Yep.
Go around the first corner, go around the corner, he lived right there with his grandmom out there.
Chad Seal's house?
I don't know where it is. It's the house is probably not there now, but that's where he lived at, was down that road and around the corner and with his grandmama.
Okay.
He used to run to town a lot to get in shape, so it's a pretty good little jaunt, about 2 miles,
It's right on par there.
It's like the Trenton Running Man.
Yeah, I see that.
Man, that guy.
He's got some
And been doing it for
stones on him.
years.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I've seen him every once in a while, but it scares me every time.
My wife and I talk about it every time we drive by him. We're like, why here? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
Because the road's not good
For a
either
long
with
time.
the ruts. A lot of times on 69, no, between Trenton and Celeste, I go like off.
Yeah.
I put my my tire in the middle, and I'll go off to the side on the shoulder a little bit. And
Yeah, don't do that between.
Yeah, he is the reason you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, he runs his shirt off in the summer, and it's so hot,
Yeah. He's tall and skinny too.
Yeah.
He's put in some
He's an
steps.
ultra runner, I would assume. Probably wearing them
guess.
Hokas.
Yeah. I got some, but I'm wearing Crocs right now.
Oh, yeah.
No, Archie, he set a state record at the time. In 10 games, he rushed for 2,317 yards, or just 231 yards per game. And people subsequently broke it that played like 15 games like in playoffs. But he rushed for almost 2,400 yards in 10 games. He made All-State, and he was really good back. He got 1760 his junior year.
Jeez.
As a running back, and he developed kind of late. He was kind of pudgy and stuff when he was in 8th, 9th grade, and all of a sudden, physically he just took off, and he was muscular and fast, and So he had a great career here. He had 424 yards against Whitesboro.
Oh, goodness.
He did. And Honey Grove was ranked number 2 in the state, and we were 6 and 4. Not near as good as they were. And he still reeled off 150 yards against them.
Wow.
On sheer determination and sheer ability,
I wish I was good at anything, you know?
Does he still hold some of those records?
I don't think that. I think since they've expanded the playoffs and more backs are running, 15 games and stuff like that, it's been broken. I know some backs have 3,000 yards now.
Yeah, more opportunity to break the record.
Yeah, but he went to Navarro Junior College also. Then he went to Oklahoma State. And I knew he was fast, but he did real good in track at Oklahoma State. He really excelled there in track. And,
Did he play ball there too?
yes,
Who do you know who he played for at that time? Who was Oklahoma State coach at that time?
Well, his name was Floyd Guess or something like that. It's Gues. He was the Austin College coach, and our coach, Perry Morris, played for him at Austin College. So I'm sure that connection propelled him towards Oklahoma State.
I didn't realize Austin College had a athletics program.
Well, they're Division III. It's non-scholarship. You don't.
Gotcha.
If you play, you can't. You don't give you a scholarship. If you play, you want
You
to
got to pay $100,000 a semester like everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're no different. You don't get any money for playing in Division III.
Grayson County Ivy League.
Yeah.
Division II, Division I, of course, you do, but Division III, and there's several Division III schools around here that they compete against. There's a conference in Texas.
Oh, should have went that route.
Fighting Ruse.
Yeah, they are. It's a good school though.
Yeah.
You mentioned Perry Morris as coach in the
Yeah,
late 50s?
1960 to
early 60s.
72.
Who were the other coaches around then, and after him?
After him,
Yeah.
Well, a guy named Danny Dobbs was a coach, and then there was a guy that come from Celeste, and I can't think of his name, but Danny Dobbs was coaching right after that, and he coached several years. And somebody named Lynn McCard, whose daddy was an All-American in East Texas, he coached in 77, 78, 79. I think Danny Dobbs coached again, and had pretty high expectations those years, and it didn't work out exactly. And I think after him was Ray Miller. Ray Miller was a basketball coach here at Leonard, and football coach quit right before two-a-days, and I think that he took over the reins for a couple of years. And then we had like a coach from a year in 82, 83, and had somebody named Jet Wilson in 82. He called Leonard the Flying Tigers for some reason. That's what he didn't last too long.
Just gimmicky nicknames. That's all he's
Better
got.
than the 12 o'clock whistle. You know?
I mean, also,
the noon whistle.
We weren't the Leonard. We were the Flying Tigers, and I thought, my Lord. And then, so anyway, that's how it was. Then we had this coach that came here, and we was out there. I was out of school to come out there and run us off the football field. We was playing touch, and we asked him why he was running us off. He said, "Well," he said, "we don't have a football team right now. We're going to start with the grass in the field." And so we had a guy got in an argument with him, and he said, "Let me tell you what," I said, "I was here when you came here, and said I'll be here when you're gone, which won't be long." And Rusty Harridge, that was his name, Rusty Harridge, yeah.
Nice.
And you didn't know after that, a homeboy took over after that, Lynn Marshall. Lynn Marshall was from about 84 to, it's Marion Marshall's husband, and he took over about 84, 89, 90, and had quite a bit of success. He didn't win district in 84, 85, but in 86 they started having two teams go to the playoffs. So Leonard was second in 86 behind Cooper, but we went to the playoffs. Well, Cooper got beat out the second round, and we made it to the third round and just got beat by Winona 14-12.
Oh, man.
And if we had beat Winona beat the next team, Shiners, 38-0. So we'd have had a chance to go
All the way.
If we got squeezed by that one, we just didn't. But
Could have beaten
Leonard
Shiner.
Leonard had a
Could have beaten Shiner.
Yeah, that'd be
cool.
Shiner. Yeah, and they had a player on that team that, unfortunately, he was a punter and receiver, very good athlete, and and the next night he was in a tragic car wreck, and
Oh, man.
it paralyzed him. It damaged him. Excuse me. It damaged him for the rest of his life, and he finally passed away.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of a tragedy. But next year they come out and they were 10-0. They had a lot of people back and had 2 good backs, and they went 10-0, but got beat their first playoff game. And they was ranked number 4 in the state. They had that 4 ranking, which was a great ranking, and they had about 8 people off that previous year. But they got beat by Harmony 7-6. 31-21 over at Harmony.
Wow.
Over there.
Where did y'all play the state games then?
Which
Like when you made it to the state championship?
we made it to the semifinals when my son played Ty.
When I just mean like where, like that time, whoever made it to state in the time frame that you were playing, where would y'all play the state game?
Oh, when I was playing?
Yeah.
Just on a mutually agreed site.
Gotcha. It wasn't like a Texas Stadium
It
or
wasn't
whatever.
Texas Stadium or Austin or anything like that. It was
Gotcha.
just whatever the coaches agreed on.
Yeah. When I was in school playing basketball, that was my sport of choice.
I remember that.
Yeah, we I just always wanted to make it to the state tournament because to play in the Frank Irwin Center in Austin, I think it's in San Antonio now, but
Before you got here, he goes, "Oh, James."
yeah. Hey, give it. Yeah.
Isn't that a joke between you and Big Bob?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of jokes between me and Big Bob. Usually
Sorry,
aimed at my
at your expense.
At my expense.
I mean, that's what that was.
Yeah, I got
You
you.
something about sites. Well, one time in '63, we played Capel and by district. Capel was small like Leonard. We played Capel and by district, and it was the day Kennedy was assassinated. Friday, November 22nd, '63. And he was assassinated about 1 o'clock that day. And I remember the principal coming in and telling us that he was deceased. And it was a bright, shiny day, but we was going to play Capel that night at Whitewright, which is strange, at Whitewright. And it turned cold and bad, but Leonard won 15-0.
Wow.
Beat Capel, won by district. Of course, it was a somber mood because of what had happened. And next Thanksgiving, they played Throckmorton at Bowie, Texas. And Throckmorton had Bob Lilly, the Dallas Cowboys' great little brother. He was on the team. He was a tight end. And they beat us like 25-3, something like that. We kicked a field goal at the very end of the game. And we had a lot of mishaps in the kicking game. I think if that would have been eliminated, we'd have competed with them.
Speaking of kicking, I understand you're the kicker. You're quite the kicker.
Oh, I guess back in the day it was, yeah.
So from what I've heard, you were pretty good. That's the rumor.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Rumor,
You can pat yourself on the back if you'd like. How did you do?
Your legacy lives on.
Yeah.
Well, I kicked a 49-yard field goal.
There you go.
At Celeste.
Yeah.
And I had a 78-yard punt. Had a 44-yard punting average, and I played tight end. And I was looking in my computer a while ago, and on Pigskin Prep. It's called Jury's Pigskin Prep, and they got the records, and I was still on there for most in the season, or not most, but 17 in the season. And I think the records, I had the record at one time, but it's like 20-something now.
Wow.
But I was shocked when I was just looking on some information and found that.
Cool.
And
That's
I told
cool.
my wife, I said, look, I'm out here on the computer.
I made it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh man, I had a question and it just lost me. Yeah, 49-yard field goal. That's not even super common today. Like,
Ignorant question. Where do you line up on that?
what do you mean? Where do you line up?
Like the 31.
31?
32, yeah.
Yeah, for a 49-yard.
Yeah, 32, and 7 yards back would be 39. Then the 10 yards back of the end zone fills up. The goal post is set back 10 yards.
Right.
So you have that. Used to, the pro goal post was on the goal lines, and
That got a little dangerous.
I've never
people
understood
would
how you
run it back.
calculate it.
Yeah.
10 yards, is that what they give you for the end zone?
Yeah, it's from the goal line to the goal post is 10 yards. So you have to, if you set it down to 39, it'll be a 49-yard field goal.
Like I said, ignorant question, but
Not really.
somebody might enjoy that.
But we beat Celeste for the district championship that night. What was good, it come down to us and Celeste, and we beat them that night. It was cold and rainy, and we played at Celeste and beat them 42-6, I think, and we clinched the district championship, the right to play Salina, which wasn't a good right, but we got it anyway.
Can't help but notice you're not looking at your notes to pull these scores out.
No,
You're just saying these scores so you either know them well or you're jerking my chain here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, actually, I told my wife. I said, "You said something about bringing some notes," and I said, I don't think I need any notes, but I sat down last night and got some. And
You're doing good.
for an emergency here.
He just brought them to make you feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I got some notes too, but I'm looking at them.
Yeah.
There was one year I thought you might. It's kind of in 1958. Of course, I was only 4 years old or something. Well, Leonard played Van Alstyne in pre-district, not in district, pre-district, and got beat by Van Alstyne. But it come back around where Van Alstyne won their district, Leonard won theirs. They played again by district. Leonard beat them that round. And local people, big Billy Gilbert. I don't know if you know Billy Gilbert.
Oh, yeah.
Gilbert. He was like 250 pounds or something. He was a giant lineman in those days. And,
Really?
yeah, he's like 250 pounds. Yeah, he got a scholarship to Texas A&M. But he come back to Leonard and did all this, and that's the best thing he could do. And but they beat Van Alstyne in kind of a rematch, and they played Boyd, Texas. I don't know why at Bonham, but at Bonham, and they got beat by Boyd in regional. But they had a great year.
Where is Boyd? I always see it. I see the.
It's kind of like, I think if you go from Fort Worth, kind of west. From
It's
Fort
out that
Worth,
route.
somewhere out there, I believe.
All right.
But I couldn't figure out why. I'm thinking back on it while we played Boyd at Bonham. You know,
Y'all got the better end of the stick there. Or Leonard did anyway.
yeah.
Wise County.
Wise County. Okay, yeah, that's about right then. West of Fort Worth, northwest of Fort Worth, I guess. Wise County burned a few years ago.
Oh yeah, up above White Settlement and all that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
It's a weird-
Drove through White Settlement
round.
this week.
I heard something about a Leonard Hall of Fame. What can you tell me about that?
I honestly don't know much about it. I don't.
Okay.
I really couldn't tell you. I didn't know they had one. To be honest with you,
Okay.
I didn't know.
How would we find out something about that?
Who'd you hear it from? That's
Well,
where
I can't reveal my
Leonard
Source.
Hall of Fame. I know they got a Fannin County Hall of Fame.
yeah.
My son's team was inducted into it, the 13 team, the
Right.
Fannin County Hall of Fame, but I didn't know they actually had one in Leonard yet or whatever.
I didn't know if there's one like back in the day. I heard there might have been.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay.
we got.
I'll have to check my sources.
We get the cryptic Matthew today.
Well, that cancels my next question. You're a writer.
What?
Yeah.
I want to be a writer.
Did we not talk about this?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I thought we brought it up earlier, but I think we talked about it
Yeah,
before James got here. You wrote for the Greenville Herald Banner? Okay.
Sermon and the Leonard Graphic.
Let's talk about it. You were a sports writer, I assume?
Well, I guess I dabbled in it. I was a stringer. I was hired to cover Friday night games, so I wrote the stories for the sermon paper and mainly Leonard games, but sometimes other games. And I did that, I think, since about 1998 until about 2 or 3 years ago.
Wow.
But the reason I quit doing it is I've got some arthritis in my ankles, and I fell going up stands, and I just didn't want to take a chance on it. So, but I might do it again, though. If my wife will let me, got to ask her, you know how it is.
Yeah, I gotta
Are you-
ask the boss.
Do you
Yeah,
just write
balls.
games you physically go to or physically watch?
Do I,
You just write games that you watch, or you write any game?
you mean back then?
Yeah.
Mainly the ones that I watched, I wrote about, I went to, yes, back
cool.
then. Sometimes I might get sent off on a Saturday or something like that by a newspaper or something like that. And but generally it was Leonard games, and sometimes it might be like Celestinville City that had me made to cover it, things like that. But I enjoyed doing it. It was kind of fun.
Johnny was telling me Leonard got cut out of the circulation area.
Well, I was working for the
Really?
Greenville paper in 2018 or something, and David Claiborne, the sports writer, called me and said, Johnny, said, the big boss come in and told me specifically we're cutting out Leonard, Community, and Farmersville. We're not going to cover them anymore.
Any particular reason?
I asked him that, and he said, the big boss said that. And I said, are we not selling enough papers here? I said, they're always sold out on Saturdays. And he says we're not selling. He said that he said they're not selling enough papers, so I don't know.
Huh.
And then Sherman, then I thought, well, we still got Sherman. Then Sherman, a year later,
Did the same?
did the same thing.
Yeah.
And so it said Leonard kids are not eligible for any all Texoma honors or anything like that because they're not covering us. And I think they replaced us with Tioga, which is a relatively new school,
Sure.
and somebody else.
Tioga, that's out near Paris and all that, isn't it? Or no, Tioga's on
It's
77.
close to Gunner.
Yeah, Gunner, yeah.
But here's the thing is they keep covering White Right and Bales. I know that's closer there, I understand, but
Not that much.
that's our worst enemy, so
Yeah.
White Right.
What's the town I confused Tioga for that's out near Paris on the way? The little small town.
Chisholm?
No, it starts with a T, I think. It's it had that little airfield.
I was confused it with Valdosta.
Oh, yeah, it's not Valdosta.
Valdosta.
I don't know why.
Valdosta's out like south of Mansfield or something, isn't it?
No, I think it's
Right
out Blue Ridge. Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Blue Ridge, Princeton way.
Right.
I'm going to
If
pull
I'm
up
not
my
mistaken.
handheld map with phone capabilities here.
Yeah.
But it's really bad that we don't have the coverage. Leonard, it's good to have that coverage, but we don't have it no more. Not because of me, but because it's just for the kids, school.
We didn't assume that. Back to your college at Navarro.
Mm-hmm.
Your coach was Donnie Duncan.
Duncan, yeah. From Celeste, yeah.
Yeah.
Toko.
Let's get into that because there's some Celeste Leonard coincidence there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Leonard and Celeste has always been, that was probably the biggest rival of small schools there was for a long time. That was always a giant rival.
Sure. I've also
And
got,
actually, we beat them 17 straight years, and it ended in 77.
I've also got Barry Switzer written down here too.
Oh, my gosh.
How would that come in?
Barry Switzer?
Yeah.
I don't know how
Okay.
Barry Switzer, I don't like the guy.
Yeah.
I'm being cryptic again.
Yeah, you are.
Forget I said that. All right, moving along. Kenny Deal.
Kenny Deal.
You grew up near him or something like that?
Yeah, across the street.
Is
yeah.
that correct?
Yeah.
He's about to have himself a stadium over there in Melissa, right?
Yeah, they're going to name the stadium after him.
Namesake,
Yeah.
anyway.
Why is that?
I don't know. He just coached there a long time. And,
Don't look at me. I'm trying to get Johnny to answer.
I just know that he got his first job there and stayed there. He was a coach. He's always an assistant coach and basketball coach. And
He's from Leonard, though.
he's from Leonard.
Yeah.
And I did hear that he's going to name the new stadium after him.
Yeah.
Oh.
He played ball here then?
Yeah, he played ball here. Yeah, him and his daddy did both.
Okay.
His daddy's on that 58 team I was telling you about that played Ben Austin and Boyd.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Trying to teach you stuff here.
but
I'm
he,
learning.
But he played. He's about 10 years younger as everybody else is, and he lived across the street. I knew his mom and dad real well. They still live down that same road. But he.
I'm looking at Butch Worley.
Yeah, Butch. Yeah, we were classmates, me and Butch. Butch had a long and storied career. He went to Austin College. He played up there for a while. He got out of Austin College. I think he was a coach for 2 or 3 years. So he decided to go to law school.
No.
And
It's a good choice, probably.
And I remember him saying, well, I'm just going to try it. I thought, well, he'd probably make it, And so he started law school, and he got out of law school. Then he went to work as a lawyer for some firm, and he got tired of not being around athletics. Then he got a job with the NCAA investigation as an NCAA investigator.
All right.
As a matter of fact, he is right in the middle of this stuff with SMU. When SMU got the death penalty, he was in the very middle. That David Stanley, the guy that got him turned in, really, that spilled the beans. Well, he was working with David Stanley. He was interviewing him all the time, and that's where a lot of that information come out of was Butch Worley. And but like I said, he was right in the middle of that SMU downfall, and it's one of the investigators.
What was the big stink with that? Was that were they recruiting and paying, or what? I don't remember the deal.
Well, there's a book called "A Payroll" to Meet, and they were just paying players outlandish sums. Ron Meyer got there, and they said that he took a $100 bill and tacked on the board and said, "This is our calling card," and put a nail in it. Said that's our calling card.
Oh.
But the governor was involved, Clements was involved, Sherwood Blunt was involved. All the big money people were paying those players, giving them places to stay, paying them rent. They got one guy from up Pittsburgh. He lost his job. They moved him down here, paid the rent and everything, and somehow or another it come out, and so they caught him doing all. It was ridiculous.
Everything they could be doing, they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just paying you on the side. It was big bucks, and so they did it. They got probation and got sentenced. They got reduction of scholarships, and they kept doing it. So they got the death penalty, which is no football for a long time. And but it's an interesting story, though. That's the first time I think the death penalty's been enforced. You know,
connection to Leonard here.
Yeah,
Through Butch Worley.
Yeah, he was in the middle of it all.
Is that what was the Worley kid that was in
Blake?
Yeah, Blake. Was that his dad?
Uncle.
Yeah, you would know.
Yeah,
you would know better.
that's his brother's son, Jeff's son Blake, and
Jeff.
Butch's mom still lives up there in the very north of town. Her husband passed away about 8-9 years ago, and she still lives up there, Patsy.
Yeah. He went to UT after that.
Who, Butch?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Man, running the show over here. I've got a question for you. Do you have any nicknames?
For me?
You
For
smirk,
me?
you smirk. Yeah.
For me?
Yeah, do you have any nicknames?
Or for Matthew?
Oh, yeah.
You've been talking to James Watson.
No.
If I have a nickname.
You got any nicknames?
For
Is
me
it-
or other people?
For you. Personal, like people call you.
Yeah, I do.
You do? You do?
Now we're getting cryptic, Johnny.
You want to know it?
His demeanor's changed.
You want to know it? It's spelled R-O-O-T.
Root.
Root, yes.
Root.
I just figured James Watson led you in that one. What? Yeah, Root.
He
Yeah.
may have.
I got that name in high school, by the way.
Okay. Is this okay to talk on the podcast?
You
To
can
talk
always say
about?
pass.
Yeah, we can edit this out if you want to. If you're
No, that's fine. It's I really can't tell you much why, but on a podcast, but
Just one of those things, huh?
it's just
well, not to call back Miss Goldie, but he also
Miss
said
Golden.
Miss Golden. Yeah, sorry.
You have been talking to somebody.
Not to call back Miss Golden, but was there something that happened with her? No, not maybe I phrased that wrong.
Oh, who told you this?
James.
James, I thought that. Yeah.
Matthew will not hold up under CIA torture.
No.
Yeah, it was Miss Golden. Yeah. She just asked me questions. She said she'd call you friend. She said, "Friend John, how come they call you Root?" And I said, "Well, Miss Golden, it's actually a long story." And so everybody just starts laughing. Even the girl starts laughing, and everything is hilarious. What do you say to an English teacher? You know, they ask you, they ask a question, you're supposed to answer them. So
Yep. Politely.
yeah.
I was going to mention this before we even started, but Thomas Hallmark, I thought maybe we could. James actually said to have him come in with you and talk, and I had mentioned maybe doing a phone call with him, but I don't think that's going to work at this point.
Yeah, Tomcat. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of stories, I guess, or you have stories about.
He's got like knowledge stored. That's incredible.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of knowledge. I didn't know that you wanted him. I would have. That's my cousin, actually, second cousin. Yeah, he's a giant fan, and he remembers a lot.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't want to throw a wrench in it at the last second there.
Yeah.
You got anything else to add there?
No, I guess that
That sums it up.
I guess in 89, 90, and 91, Leonard all went to playoffs, but they lost the first playoff game. But they had 3 consecutive years, 89, 90, and 91. They went to the playoffs, and they lost it. And I think one year they was going to play Hugh Springs, and they lost their best running back, tore ligaments and stuff, didn't have him. And they beat us 32-2, but, you know, they made the playoffs. But then 1 or 2 teams could make it, you know, but they lost by a small margin.
So when did you say Lynn Marshall took over?
If I'm not mistaken, it was 84.
So when did his son start playing? Jason.
Jason, I think. Well, of course, Lynn moved back to Leonard, and Jason started. Jason played on those good teams in '86 and '87. He was the quarterback.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
realize Jason played. I thought he started later for some reason.
No, he played in '86 when he had those good teams, '86 and '87, and I guess he played on the sub-varsity '84 or whatever. But
Yeah.
Lynn took over in '84, and
Gotcha.
I think he coached until '89 or '90, something like that. But he also played quarterback, so
Yeah.
it was kind of a
Yeah.
quarterback son, quarterback father.
Sure. He's a superintendent of Palestine now.
Who?
Jason.
Oh, Jason is? Yeah, I thought Jason. I know Lynn's disabled, yeah.
Oh yeah. And did Jason have a brother?
Judd.
Judd.
That's right. Yeah.
Everybody knows Judd.
Yeah.
Judd, yeah.
He's got the famous senior picture in the cafeteria,
It's in
whatever
the
that thing was called. Yeah, the senior picture
Yeah, right.
thing. His was funny.
it's in the Leonard Museum.
Yeah, Judd was the
Yes,
younger,
it is.
He was the younger brother by 2 years, I believe. And I think he was 2 years younger than Jason.
Wonder if I'm in there with my frosted tips.
Yeah, I'm sure I am with my bleached eyebrow.
But one thing is that the
2000s are wild.
the farthest Leonard went was 2013.
With
We
Fletcher?
did semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
We got made to the Final Four. We was ranked number 40th by this website, Jerry's Pigskin,
Mm-hmm.
Jerry's Pigskin Pip or something
Yeah.
like that. We was ranked 40th going into the season. We wound up in the Final Four.
That's crazy.
But we had to play Cisco, and they beat us pretty bad.
We were ranked something around my sophomore, junior year in basketball. I don't remember what though. We didn't.
That's when y'all played Italy, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I remember that team.
We had a really good team my junior year, but a lot of us got injured, and it ended up not that we thought, well, if we're ever going to do anything, it's this year, and it didn't work out.
Well, I remember y'all played Italy in basketball. I went to that game, and Italy had this kid out there that also played football that wound up going to Division II college, but he actually wound up with the Dallas Cowboys.
Really?
Yeah, I can't think of his name right offhand.
I bet if I look on Wikipedia, it's under notable residents.
But he was in that game, I know, and he went somewhere and played, and he wound up with the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
And played them 2 or 3 years. And
I wish I had a better memory for that stuff. Like, because I enjoyed playing. When I think back of it, it's all kind of a blur.
Like, I'll compare.
I drank too much beer.
But what I remember is he was outside of a nightclub and he got stabbed. Didn't kill him, but he got
Really?
stabbed. And it's in the paper that somebody from Italy wrote in defending him. He's not this bad of a guy and stuff
Sure.
like that. And but the Cowboys, kept him 2 or 3 years, so he made a little money there. And then he went somewhere else, I think.
Yeah. Jamaica Rector played for the Cowboys for a little while too, from Celeste.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he started out on the practice squad, then ended up being on special teams. I think he even ran a few routes as a receiver one time. I think it was during the Quincy Carter era though, or something.
Yeah, he had another brother that made All-American in Division II, I remember.
There was a lot of Rectors in Celeste, and they were all highly athletic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they've had a bunch of good athletes,
Yeah.
especially in the 80s and 90s. And
Yeah.
That's what I
sure.
was going to say.
Rectors.
I don't remember what year that was, but I know Jamaica went to the practice squad.
Yeah, I know he played for Arizona for a little while too,
Yeah.
and the Cowboys too. So
You can make pretty good money if you're just on the practice squad.
yeah,
That's
I mean
better,
it's like $150,000 a year or
yeah,
something.
minimum. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll sign me up.
Practice for that.
Yeah. Well,
We are at the point, I think, where we do 5 questions that we just pull out of that jar that I just put away.
Yeah.
The random questions, and we're going to see how you do.
want me to kick it
Yes,
off here?
You ready for this?
Yeah, I don't know what that'd be about, though.
Yeah, it's just going to be random. James is going to start us off.
Okay.
Who is the most famous person you've ever met?
The most famous person I've ever met. I met a guy riding a bull through Leonard, and he was in '62, and I don't remember his name, but he was famous called the Bull Rider. He rode a bull through the United States promoting beef.
Oh,
And my mom worked out Grill 69, and he stopped on the way, and he just rode bulls down the highway in Ross, Texas. And he gave me a picture and said, so-and-so the Bull Rider, but that was 1962.
Yeah.
I generally remember names pretty good, but
I was thinking he was
remember
going to
now.
say like Charlie Pride because that seems to
I'm
come up
looking
on
it
this.
right now.
That Charlie Pride seems
Charlie
to come up
Pride,
on
yeah.
our
did y'all know,
podcast a
did y'all
lot.
know the famous Tex Watson played against Leonard?
I did not.
You
Did
know,
not.
Manson's right-hand man?
Mhm.
He's from Farmersville.
Oh,
He's from Farmersville, and he played up here. They scored 22 points, and he scored 14 of the 22 points, Tex Watson.
oh, okay.
And he's the one that was Manson's right-hand man and actually killed the movie star.
Yeah,
that
what was her name?
That was expecting.
What was her name?
I was Googling. sorry.
Sharon Tate.
Yes.
Sharon Tate.
Sharon
That's
Tate.
right.
Yeah. Look at me pulling out some
I
60s
heard-
pop culture.
I heard like Hollywood murder. And
Yeah.
you're right.
All right, you're up for the next
Trying to
question
find
there.
this bull rider. Next question. What was the last? When was the last time you were on a boat?
1982.
Whoa.
Strong, solid, confident answer there. I like that.
I don't do boats a lot.
Okay.
So
Apparently.
I'm not a strong swimmer.
Oh, well, good reason to stay on that boat.
Well, I
then.
thought you'd be a good kicker though.
I was a swimmer.
Yeah.
I didn't learn to swim. I just never got interested in it, and I swam a little bit. And
82. So it was like a fishing trip or a
no, it's just
A ferry?
this person's home when they had a boat and we went out in it.
cool.
Turned out he didn't like it very much.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
82. I'm stopping this.
Yeah, I was putting on 2 lifesavers on my leg and stuff like that. You know.
All right, here we go. Question number 3: Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
Easy.
Easy money right there. You got to
Coca-Cola.
absolutely.
That's what I grew up on around here.
Yeah, man.
Selling these bottles.
Pepsi's garbage.
That's true. Call back to the bottles. This is a 4-part question. What is the furthest north that you've traveled
The farthest north.
on the globe?
No, it's
It's like Denton.
Oklahoma, somewhere Oklahoma, maybe.
All right. So we're going
Or
east.
Kansas.
We're going
okay.
east now.
Going east.
East.
I guess Florida.
Florida. Okay, let's go west.
West. Wichita Falls and there's another town out there I went to.
Childress.
Yeah,
I love
think so,
Childress.
Yeah,
Nakona.
yeah, that's the Wichita Falls. I've been there. Yes,
South.
south. Oh my goodness, let me think. South.
Mexico.
No, I hadn't been to Mexico.
Strike me as a resort guy.
I think just on the coast down there.
Okay.
Okay.
Me and
Little
my
coastal
wife, me and
fishing?
Me and my wife got married and went that direction.
Cool.
And we went out. And I remember close to the water and stuff. I said, "Well, I hadn't seen the ocean really much." And
When did you get married?
1986, 85, yeah. But
That's
we kind of went together for quite a while.
Sure.
Married late in life.
What did you think was cool when you were young that you don't think is cool now? I
I
already
thought this
said
would be a good question.
I already said
Coming
it for
from
me.
the 60s, 70s.
Frosted tips.
Yeah. Bleached eyebrows.
I guess I thought it was probably cool to skip a class or skip a day of school.
Yeah.
I didn't really do it,
I
but
still think that's kind of cool.
I still think that it's a wasted day.
Yeah.
I think you should be learning, really.
Sure.
And a more mature life, I think you should be learning.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's probably why I'm not very good at math.
Yeah. That's why he's got a math degree.
I'll
Yeah, you don't.
Hey, I'll tell you and guarantee you results. Guaranteed.
I like to go back to college.
I like that
confidence,
confidence.
What's
One last thing I noticed, you're wearing a Mckinney North shirt.
that?
Tell us the connection.
My son coaches there.
Okay.
My son teaches math and coaches there.
Cool.
Ty Mckinney. He played on 2013. He made All-State at punter, kicker, and receiver.
Oh, that's
There you
awesome.
go.
And but now he's coaching at McKinney North and teaching math, coaching baseball and football. He's coaching baseball and football.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's actually, I meant to get to that earlier, so I
Yeah,
apologize about that.
yeah.
Who's a better running back? Shoot. Yeah, Archie White or James Henderson?
Archie White.
Reasons?
5'11", 195 pounds, great speed. James Henderson, 5'7", 5'8", 145 pounds, really good speed. Broadshy was much bigger, better prospect, much better.
Physics.
Them. Okay.
He's 195 pounds, 190, 195 pounds, muscular, and he was big. James is real good back, kind of a scat back, but he didn't have the physical qualities Archie did,
Yeah.
And but he was a good back though.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mr. McKinney, we appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Is there anything else you'd like to add or subtract?
I don't think I can subtract anything except maybe the nickname, but
Yeah, we can take that.
but I've really enjoyed it. It's been a great conversation. I've enjoyed doing it.
We
If I could
appreciate
think
it.
of something else to add right now, I would, but it's
Hey, we can always bring you back.
Yes,
there's
sir.
But I will tell you this: there's been a lot of really good football players come through here.
Yeah.
Probably unrecognized, and one passed away. I think about a year ago. Pat Hicks. He was a really good running back, and we were friends. I really, it bothered me that he passed away, and I liked him.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of good football players come through here. We just mentioned a few, but there's actually been a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime. We appreciate your time and knowledge and sitting down with us.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.